What's good, YouTube? And welcome to the house. I really want to start off Market Watch this way, so sorry if I stumbled, but I want it to be from the heart. The other day, when I gave that health update, said you should go to the doctor, take care of yourself. I'm not your dad, so I can't tell you what to do. I got DM'd by somebody telling me a story of what they are going through and the battles and journey they have ahead and how it hit home for them. Also, with my health updates, I've had people hit me up like, I want to start my journey, or I'm this far in my journey. I try to keep my head down to the grind when it comes to YouTube a lot, and I really hate those YouTubes that go, we're more than a community, we're a family. They kind of socially prey on their viewers and try to get that closeness, almost like a cult. But for me, it really is an eye-opener and reminder that as a whole, we are a community. For my streams, I try to say we're an online locals, but I usually try to just keep that aspect of, I'm gonna get back to people in the comment section, but there is a community overall from the YouTube, and I really appreciate you guys that have been reaching out and reminding me of that. That being said, let's get into today's Market Watch, starting with Cyberstrike and some quality control issues. I don't see a lot of other YouTubers, if any, really bringing up the constant issues with control, but Sam actually showed that he got one of the cool misprints, and then also the pricing with daily and them having their $9.99 imperm has helped cool off the price, it feels like, as well as mass listings starting to open today on imperm, yet they still haven't hit daily's price where you can use code What'sGood5 for 5% off and support the channel directly. But I've been seeing stuff like this, these terrible miscuts. The quality has been compared to Dual Devastator, yet maybe even worse. People feel like the people in charge of that might be in charge of this, but there's no confirmation on that sort of thing. And I've been seeing just white all over the cards, people talking about missing imperms from their structure deck. It's been a bit of a crap show with quality, but one cool thing to come out of this is a common misprint of Cyber End Dragon showing off the foiling from Cyber Dark End Dragon and swapping the foil over there too. This one not quite as cool, but still a decent misprint. They've been packaged together quite a bit. And look at this versus that. The foiling actually adds a cool X factor. Now, being common-ish doesn't mean that it won't be worth a lot later. The misprint group is kind of sleeping on a bit, saying it's so common, but remember the start of Rise of the Duelist with the name shifts on Triple Tactics Talent, on Adir Servant, and people were only paying 30 more because it seemed common? Well, I've seen a lot more of these than the name shifts. Still, a common misprint like Elemental Hero Chaos Neos back in the day on its Ghost Rare, people only valued those at $20. I didn't spend over 20 on any of mine, and they slowly went up to 30, 40. But with this is one of the coolest cards in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! History, very notable from the GX era, one of the fan favorites in terms of first Ed Ulti Cyber End Dragons, were worth a ton during the Stimmy check spike and still are. So I would personally diamond hands these misprints instead of letting them go cheap-ish, but I've seen offers of like $65 for both. I'm personally open to offering $40 for any matching pair, and that should say something because, like, I want them, but I even feel like that's an under offer. Personally, I would diamond hand these. Also, speaking of structure decks, Albaz Strike is confirmed for the TCG, so where's the Utopia structure deck? Where's the Agent structure deck? Oh no! So Albaz Strike, though, is getting confirmed here. It's really cool to see this noted, and I want to see the continuing updates, but I am now worried for what's going to get split up in other products where, like Ghost from the Trash 2. King's Copium has another buyout here. Arcana Triumph Joker has just been going up steady over time. I assume this is partial waifu tax. Not too many sales above that $40 to $50 mark, although you do see the 75s peppered in here, maybe from Canadians who access card the market and can't get it in their area. But yeah, that's not going to affect the sealed either, just a piece going up here or there. It would take a mass movement like Lightning Storm, which is actually staying surprisingly around 40 despite low quantities, which is nice. But I wanted to also point out, I brought up Guilty Gearford, and a lot of people, Gearfree, my bad, I brought it up in the previous Market Watch and didn't know the reason for the buyout, and it does seem decent. I did say I thought it was super poly, I was right there, but what it's specifically for is for F-Zero with the Destiny Hero together on end boards, or against Sword Soul when you have the Destiny Hero and one of the Sword Soul, I believe, end board warriors also. So that is something to consider against Phantom Knights and against Sword Soul. It seems to be decent against those matchups in the boards for a super polymerization target. That's why it went. Speaking of Phantom Knights, I would also consider Torn Scale sale as a penny stunk right now. It's around $3, and you do have the second waves of 10s coming, but a lot of people are going to want specifically this card for their PK decks if they choose to play it within the metagame. It really seems to be doing well in the OCG, and while we aren't the OCG, the Phantom Knight deck is one to be dealt with. Speaking of that, Tour Guide from the Underworld's nice versions. I've seen even the first edition secret rares disappearing from the market as the Unlims continue to just go crazy. $73 with actual sales in the range of just being crazy to me at 70. But, you know, people really like this card. It's an icon in Duel Links, and you can see the first editions here are around 120 before they're disappearing somewhat fast. The ultimate rare, I would think, is the higher rarity to be considered, but it's just not very easily accessible, with the near mints being $300+. But depending on the version of Tour Guide you want, I would get it sooner than later. Before that metagame, we could see all-time highs on this card then. Sky Striker's got a Kaiju. Leave it to that community to be one of the only ones unhappy with an N-archetype Kaiju. A lot of people do recognize its power, its ability to out certain cards that are problems for Sky Strikers, and we do see a bump up in price / lower quantities on some of these cards, which happened when the set was announced in the OCG. We don't know how we're going to get them because the Prismatic God box ended up being pieced out into a structure deck here. I wonder how it's, yeah, see things made into structure decks that aren't structures, then are structure decks that we're supposed to get pieced out. Nice, Konami. Anyways, I do see things like Widow Anchor going lower on quantities, especially for certain versions of it, and then up in price. Kind of weird to see the Dark Saviors version behind the Battles of Legend version. And then you have Engage here, pretty affordable, but I do notice Shizuku going up in price for her secret rare also. You might want to get versions of Sky Strikers again before this ever gets announced here, because that'll likely respike them. I also want to talk about, if you're in the market for the OCG product, I know not everybody is, that there was a huge problem with the Prismatic God box, and right now on eBay it tells a different story. If you're looking sealed, oh, they're 120, they've stayed like this all along. Actually, they started around the 110 to 120 in the OCG on the secondary market and have done nothing but fall. You can get them for 70 to 80 on the OCG market, because if you stare at this, there's very little sealant that can even be re-adhered, and you can kind of peek in at which one you got, and then the ultimate rares in those sets were kind of predetermined. The raw box, you had Blue Eyes and Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon in Ultimate Rare, and you couldn't get it in anything but the raw box. So people would peek inside, see which one it was, or even unsealed, take out the packs, replace the packs from other Prismatic God boxes, and open them up for those high chase Ultimate Rares. If you can peek in at the packs, that means you're guaranteed the Sky Striker box if they're doing different themed boxes. So Konami needs to fix that in the OCG, and I don't know that they're going to mess with the packaging after still having a home run, selling out everywhere, seeing it as a success in their eyes. We usually say OCG seems like the best place, but they do have their problems, even with their successful products. And I bet a lot of people are going to be after the Engaged sleeves. Sky Striker sleeves from the YCS are worth so much, in their playmats are too. These acrylic stands are kind of nice. I'm not even the biggest acrylic stand fan overall. I usually like more physical 3D collectibles, but I do get the appeal for them. These are a nice addition. So yeah, if you're in the market for these boxes, be aware there have been problems with them in the past. If you're getting it as a sealed product, you might see a lot of Mayakashi boxes all of a sudden instead of Sky Striker boxes if you're ordering them from over there, and they don't fix this problem. Dawn of Majesty has some interesting movement in the Despias. We did note that Burst of Destiny is going to update Despia a lot, and we see a price spike happening right now on Aluber, and the sales rates are insane. Look at this, from 32 into 40s all over the place, and you go down here, and this is just the last 2 days, and then today on these kinds of sales rates on Aluber. So this is starting to go kind of crazy right now, but also even on the lower end, like the Ultra Rares, where there's tons of listers, we're seeing the sales rates. Look at this. This is today and yesterday, and we have to click again, and we're still on like the last day before barely getting to the 12th here. So the sales rates on Despia are going through the roof right now, even if the price isn't moving too much on the lower ultras. And then the secret rare, it's starting to go up with Aluber. So just keep in mind, Dawn of Majesty, it's like a DLC patch before we ever got the official game that updates for Synchro Storm as well. And then if B-Trooper still is using Ready Fusion, like, that card could end up going up a lot. Like, it really feels like this just ahead of time set that now people are going for extra on certain pieces. I also do want to note that with Despia, Chaos Space, like, there's a couple different versions, is played in some versions. I see extremely low quantities from Toon Chaos on a card that's done nothing but go up, and the collector rare here as well. I actually haven't peeped first ed in a while, or even on this video, so live editing done cheap. Let's see where the first editions are at. Last I knew they were like 110s and, ooh, 170. Okay, when did that happen? I see a sale at 140, 140. Looks like it has been going up. My market man spider senses have indeed been tingling. Also, what I was talking about with my people in the Discord about, do you think that Skullmeister will still be cited next format? A lot of people saying less since Prank Kid has started falling off, and I did note that it seems like a lot of effects are going to activate and banish. You might want to get your versions of Lancia that you want to see or get sooner than later, and I noticed the secret rare going down in quantities again, but there's so many hollow foil versions that are cheap right now. You have no excuse not to get your set of this amazing long-term floodgate hand trap if you're ready for the next format, because there's going to be a lot of banishing happening, and this seems like a good one to get. This one's been slid across my desk so much, it feels like self-interested people are pushing it. Have you seen the Dragula Bond bio? Have you seen it, John? Have you seen the price? First off, Gold Series theme is probably numbers, so I'm hoping for a lot of number reprints in there, and it feels like the cards from the number binder are coming in there, and then we should hopefully see a ton of number reprints alongside that, but you never know with Konami. Look at this price sales history. It's been floating between 22 to 27 for months on end. Yet I've been suggested this like 3 times a week, every single week for the last 3 weeks. That's why I say I feel like I get paranoid sometimes. I don't want to be used as a tool by people that bring me things for Market Watch, and I know a lot of you guys aren't doing that, but it really feels almost forced to. Look, it's back here, $25. It's been like this for months, and while it does have its uses and cheese OTK, it almost feels like people are trying to force this one up and off the market. I personally wouldn't be buying it right now. I don't think it's a necessity. It's a cool little OTK piece, but I don't think that you need it for anything. Astral packs have been going a little crazy in certain areas, and I noticed Trishula's up in price despite so many competitive versions. You have the Starlight, the DT, and then MST is still really up there. Fiendish Chain's one I pointed out so many times at $18 for Dino Rabbit, and finally caught some traction as well. So Astral Pack 8 doing pretty well for itself, and sorry for the multiple screens. I was looking up cards last minute. I love bringing you guys the most content. Regeki is really up there in price, and I see multiple sales on that TCG Player Bonus Bucks back day, but you see very little movement on this card. I think this Ultimate Rare is actually pretty darn ugly, but it is the highest rarity. I love the Prismatic Secret Rare promo version of it, but it's a promo. It's easy to get. Hey, the word promo doesn't come up a lot anymore either, Konami. And then we see it's been around here for some bit, so people just using the sale to get a card they've wanted for a while. I just don't like how it looks, but it is highest rarity Regeki. I would argue LOB first, and Retro Pack would actually be higher. And the common DB1 misprint with the hollow spell thing way before that was available. Invocation ultis have been moving upwards with an okay sales rate. Like, see, here's an ulti that actually moves when it's moving, and we see a lot of people hopping on this engine, normal summoning Alistair once again, while the ulti is moving along with the other versions. And Drone Lockbird nearing an all-time high, $190. If I recall, this has peaked towards 200, but not with actual sales, so it is selling probably for its highest in its history, and it's just been naturally trekking up that way. A lot of people opting to play Droll. I've been playing Droll for some time, so people landing on this hand trap for its highest rarity version. And I do think this ulti looks pretty decent. That being said, what do you think of today's Market Watch, and have you experienced any quality control issues with the Cyber Strike structure deck? They seem quite common, but at least a really cool misprint is coming out of it instead of it all being negative, terrible. But, you know, some people are experiencing the good and then the bad for sure with this structure deck. So let me know your experience with this structure deck if you're even able to get your hands on it for a decent price. Thanks for watching today's Market Watch. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed the conversation. And yeah, seriously, I do appreciate y'all, and I'll see you on tonight's live stream if you pop on in.